Welcome to Online Design with me, your host, Jeff Floyd. I'm Designer-in-Chief here at Celebrating Home. You know, as the months get really warm in the summertime, I think it's important to move to the garden. You know, studies have shown that the greenness of the garden automatically make us cool. So key to feeling cool then is truly we can move to our gardens. I find that there's several things that make that happen. A water feature in your garden is very important. Just the sound of the water immediately starts to take our temperature down a little bit, and just that and the visual of that water spilling over, whether it be a bird bath, whether it be a beautiful fountain like we're going to see here, any of those things immediately then pull that down a little bit. You know, anytime that you have the ability to add a ceiling fan outdoors to a veranda or a cover area, it immediately starts to move that air. Again, just cooling you down and increasing your time that you can spend outdoors. One of the things that I love about Celebrating Home are some of the garden statuary that we offer. I'm real proud of the garden statuary because it's all exclusive to Celebrating Home. There's an art studio that we work with on this that does incredible work. And I want to show you a few of those pieces today. Keeping in mind what is very important when you're adding art, when you're adding sculpture to your garden is scale. You know, we've all seen those gardens where you've got this enormous space without plants, without anything, and you've got this little tiny garden sculpture sitting there. Well, immediately the scale is off. So it's important when you start to look at garden sculptures and adding those to your garden that you attach them to something is what I called it. It's basically so that it's just by something. It is sitting by a bush or a group of bushes. And we're going to show you some examples of that as we're doing this. Or it sits by another garden feature. It may be sit by a fountain or a bird bath. But you think about it, truly, the gardens are so immense that to get scale, we create flower beds. We create areas of interest, and that's what makes this so beautiful. St. Francis of Assisi, this beautiful sculpture here, is a great example of what I was saying on the Celebrating Home garden features. You know, on these resin pieces, we add just a little bit of quartz powder into the resin so that it gives you that... it gives it a little more durability. It gives you the ability to show detail a little bit more. And when you look at St. Francis here, and I love the finish on this because it's a rub finished on top of this beautiful a stone finish that's underneath. So you have this really pretty underneath kind of ombre kind of color underneath, and then this coffee color that's just rubbed right on top that just brings out all those details. But look at the detail that you see on it. You see the beading on St. Francis's belt. You see the feathers on the bird here. You see, I love the way that the deer is positioned here, where you automatically have movement of the deer into, it just immediately adds movement to the sculpture itself. But that's what makes these sculptures so different for Celebrating Home, is the detail of them. When you see them, you know they're different than very low-priced garden sculptures that don't have near this detail. Now, let's look at it in the garden. You know, when you put it in the garden, then we've seen it positioned here. We positioned it right in front of that beautiful green bush. So you've created this beautiful green background of that piece, and that's what then makes the scale right. If we set this out where there was nothing around it, it would be small. But now it looks right. It looks positioned right in the garden because of that. And what a beautiful piece that is! That beautiful hand rub finish against that green background. The bird bath next to it. It's just, I love that piece of the garden of where we're at today. And then another one of ours is the garden angel. And again, look at her. We're going to show her, right, see her here. What we've done here is we've just found that little nook. We found that spot in the garden between three bushes. And we've just placed her right in there. What a surprise that is as you come down the walk and you see that beautiful angel sitting there. And again, it's detail. It's all about detail. Look at the twig nest. Look at the even her hair. You can see the strands of hair that she has. Look at the flowing of her gown. All of that. Every minute detail is seen with great, and what it makes you do, I believe, when you put a piece in your garden that has a little surprise spot like that, it truly makes our guests stop and look, because we say, oh, That is beautiful. What a serene area that makes. And what does serenity do? Serenity immediately, again, gives you that coolness that we love being outdoors with. So when you're doing your garden sculpturing, if it's a frog and you're putting it on a table just like this frog from Celebrating Home, just mixed with a little flower pot, just think of scale. And when you think of that scale, and when you think that it looks right where it is sitting, then truly you've found that exact magical moment that creates a garden that you can be very proud of.